Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on incorporating lab testing into your practice with Healthie and Lab Testing API. We're so glad that you could join today, tonight, wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is. Thanks for being here with us. I'm just really glad that you're able to be here and get some really interesting and innovative and cutting edge knowledge. That's what we like to be a part of here at Healthie and really support practitioners and providers in advancing their businesses. And I think you're really going to be just thrilled by what you're going to hear about from Lab Testing API. And with that, I'll actually go to the next slide here. My name's Angela Singer, and I lead partnerships here at Healthie, and I'm joined by Michelle. Are you there from Lab Testing API?
Hello.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here and teaming up with us. We couldn't be more excited to just get together to, again, provide this knowledge that even I, on a personal level, I didn't know, where lab testing was going and how it's really getting into the hands of patients and clients and really just empowering practitioners in private practice. And I think this is really important for supporting and advancing their businesses, their practices. And so, at Healthie, we provide the technology, we provide the tools, but, companies like what you're doing, Michelle, at Lab Testing API is so important to extend the scope of services. And the more that we can, work together, the better off we'll all be. So I'm going to turn it over to you in a second, Michelle, but first just wanted to go over this agenda, what we're going to be going over today. And so first, we're going to be talking about getting direct lab access, test access without relying on others to actually create those orders. We're going to go over offering your clients affordable cash pay lab testing, talking to your clients about lab testing options and the types of results that they can expect. So this is whether you have many years and training in lab testing, from grad school, or if you haven't had any training at all. Regardless of where you are in that spectrum, there's going to be something for you here. And I think that's where Michelle can really provide a lot of support and knowledge there. And then finally, managing lab results and documents and information in a really secure way, in a HIPAA-compliant way, how you can communicate with clients securely, and how you can organize your practice in an efficient and HIPAA-compliant way. And that's actually where we'll dive into Healthie a little bit. And I know we have a pretty big range of participants on this webinar. We have some people who have been Healthie members for a while now. We have lab testing API customers and providers. And we also probably have people who are not as familiar with either. So wherever you are on that spectrum, you are definitely welcome here, and we're excited to share our knowledge with you. And just as a quick recap, again, for those who aren't as familiar with Healthie, Healthie is that all-in-one practice management and telehealth platform. It's really everything that you need to run and grow your business. And the way I like to talk about it is it's really like your home base for your practice, whether it's in person or virtual. And so I'm going to dive into Healthie a little bit later and show you how it actually can work with lab tests and lab testing API. But that's just a little bit of background to get us going. But I would love for you, Michelle, to just dive in, take over here, and really, help us all understand how we can incorporate lab testing into our practice.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. I will jump straight in. So basically, what is Lab Testing API? Lab Testing API originates from the UK, as you can probably tell from the accent. We've got an office in the UK in New York. We're a small team of individuals with a mission to help as many people have easy access to lab testing, and we make it as affordable as we possibly can. We originally started out as a tech company that helps businesses utilize lab testing to power their mobile health apps. But more and more health providers started to reach out to us to see if we had a portal solution so that they could direct their patients to us for testing. So why do we do what we do? I've worked in the lab testing industry now for just over 7 years. In that time, I've seen a lot of changes in the industry, but the biggest one changed me personally was my own personal experience working in it and seeing the diversity in the pricing, the customer horror stories that got shared with us about customers that were paying $200 for a vitamin D test, how time consuming it can be for customers to obtain lab work and get results. I'm part of the Netflix generation, so I like things on demand. I saw companies getting excited by how much they were charging customers and how much money they were making, and it really bothered me. So I wanted to create a system where individuals can order lab tests easily and at an affordable price. And that was why Lab Testing API was created. So we've got, if we click to the next slide, actually, and the next one.
Yeah, I just see I was behind. So that is definitely the why. You covered all that. So I will skip ahead. Sorry for being behind there. There you go.
Thank you. So insurance. If a patient lacks insurance or has high deductibles, we are an affordable cash pay solution. We have up to 80% discount on Quest Diagnostics lab test pricing, and we try really hard to get our tests as low as we possibly can. If a patient's medical doctor won't order certain tests that the patient would like, we are a solution for that. As the customer can choose the test they want, or they can work with another health provider to choose their tests. Patients don't need to go to the health provider to request and obtain the lab work. They can have a referral sent to them electronically. They can pay themselves. They can get tested and have the results ready for the appointment with the health provider, which saves everybody time. We offer fast results, anywhere between 24 hours to 3 days for basic testing. Other more complex tests, they can take longer. If the patient has consented to sharing results with the health provider, as soon as they're released, they hit our system, the health provider gets them and the patient gets them. We have just over 300 tests that are specially discounted from Quest, but Quest has a lovely 4,000 lab tests in their catalogue. If a patient would like repeat testing, for example, if they're concerned about their cholesterol and they want to order several tests over the period of a year to measure improvement, then we provide that solution for them quickly and affordably. And we find this really useful in preventative care. So another way that we help is if a patient wakes up and decides that they'd like a certain test done, for example, an STD test, they can place the order, go and get tested the same day, no waiting for a home testing kit to arrive, no need to wait for the doctor's appointment, and the results come in about 2 to 3 days for them. Another way is if a patient wants to utilize our services, but they're in a state that doesn't allow them to do direct-to-consumer lab testing, like New York, Rhode Island, or New Jersey, they can go to an adjoining state with no issues. They can also use our service if traveling to another state in which to get tested. So this is really useful in cases such as ordering PTI-NR testing. If the health provider works with patients in states they're not registered in, then together you can order lab work through LTA and they can go and get tested. We offer a secure account area that is HIPAA compliant, putting everyone's mind at ease when it comes to personal health information. We provide health providers with a free portal to place all lab orders and store results. There's no monthly minimums or subscriptions with us. We handle all the billing from Quest. So the patient is purchasing through us, therefore you or them don't have to deal with Quest. Any issues such as incorrect name on results, overdue results, recollections, we arrange these and we do the recollections. They're all done free of charge. We have an easy to use consent system where each patient can share their results with a health provider at the tick of a button. And If required, we can offer results interpretation consults with the ordering physician if that's needed. If, for example, a patient finds out that they have an STD, we offer STD counseling as part of the service. We have access to 2,300 locations in the USA request, which makes it very easy for individuals to get tested. If you don't like the idea of referring patients directly through the portal system that we have, we can also create a discount code for any patient so that you can direct them to lab testing API, but they're fully in control from start A to B. So we can create unique packages for you, which you might find beneficial because we have a lot of naturopaths, for example, that we work with who order. I had someone today from California who ordered a 15-panel test for their patient. So we can create one package which would allow you to tick one box instead of 15. We have, sorry, my list is long. So the idea is that we make it in our system so that it's really easy for the patient to be able to share the results with you. So I've been going on a bit now for a few minutes. So what is it? What is it that we do? So this is patient-led lab testing that we've adapted to integrate with health providers. We truly believe in the value of working as a team. So we've built a lab ordering system that's linked to several different labs that offer venipuncture testing and testing kits. We have access to Quest Diagnostics, Core Medica labs, ERT labs, and a few more. We've created a marketing referral system whereby any health provider can introduce their patients to lab testing API system and let us know the tests that they may be interested in. And it's all done electronically. So we created a HIPAA-compliant system for health providers to submit patient information and the tests that the patient may be interested in via their health provider account. The system also allows for the patient to provide electronic consent so that when results are released, they go to the patient and the health provider. We generate our own lab orders using a team of physicians. We have physicians in all states, bar New York, Rhode Island, and New Jersey. The lab orders are generated electronically, and we ask for information such as gender and date of birth so that we can provide reference ranges that are relevant to the patient getting tested. The team of physicians means that we have no issues offering our service to the other 47 states, which means that if you've got a patient in California but you're registered in Florida, then our service can help you with those barriers. The entire process is overseen by board certified physicians who all have valid MPI numbers, and all results are checked by the physicians before being released. So all tests on our test menu are approved by medical director, and we don't do genetic testing at the moment. Our system's not about health providers ordering their own lab work per se. It's about creating an easy to use system for health providers and patients to work together in an easy and affordable way with lab testing. So what I'm going to do now is quickly show you how it works. So bear with me. Okay, hopefully you guys can all see my screen now.
Yes, Michelle, I can see your screen. And I just want to mention for people that are starting to put questions in the chat box, totally fine. Just want to let you know that we are seeing them and we're going to get to them at the end. So keep putting in your questions as they come along and we'll get to those at the end. But keep going, Michelle.
Fab. Okay, so I'm just going to log into the health provider account on the system. Okay, so first, I'm going to show you how to place a referral. So it is really easy. You click on referrals and add referral. you type in a patient's email address and you click submit. Then the system is going to give you the space to ask you for their first name, last name, and their date of birth. You can tell us when they're going to get tested. That's for us so we can keep an eye on the results, but you can leave that part blank. You then have packages which we can create for you, or you've got a list of single tests. So if you want to search for one, you just start typing in the name and the test will appear, or if you know the test code, then you can select that. At the bottom, you're going to see a summary. So you will see the selected tests on the left, and then on the right, what you're going to see is the service fee, and that added with the test amount. Now, in the service fee, that includes the generation of the electronic lab order, the draw fee, plus our service fee. So when your patient goes to the lab, they don't have to pay anything else. Everything is paid at this point. So all you'll do then is click on submit. And then, as you can see, the referral's been created. Now, what's going to happen next is the patient is going to get an email that's going to tell them that a referral has been created for them, and all they have to do is log in. They log into their account, they create their password, and they'll see a similar screen as what you're looking at now. So if the patient, for example, is in the office with you and you want to help them because you want to do the payment with them, you can actually do this part with them, or they can do it at home on their own screen. So they would click on pay. They can see the test that's being ordered. They can see the service fee and the total. Let's say you have 5 tests being ordered and the patient decides that this month they don't want to buy, let's say there was a TSH test, they don't want to buy it. All they need to do, they have complete control here. So they untick a box and the pricing would change. So for these purposes, we're going to keep this one here. And we're going to pay with a credit card. This is a fake number, so no Christmas shopping. Hang on. So then all we're going to do is submit the payment. Now, the next stage that either you or the patient can do is they need to provide us with the extra information that we need to generate the lab order. So that's going to be the agenda. You've already given us the date of birth, and then it's just contact information. By here, they have the ability to read a disclosure where they can share the results with you. So this is where they would do that. They would tick a box. If they're there with you together, you could tick the box. And then you are just going to submit that. This is going to generate the lab order for you. So here's the lab order, which magically appears. So what happens is the patient would print this. They will then take this to Quest Diagnostics and present this when they get tested. So then what happens is when the results are ready, you're going to get an email notification. The patient's going to get an email notification, both at the same time. You would log into your account, look on results, and then you're simply going to click and you can view. This is in a PDF format, so you can do with it what you need to do. I know that Angela has a way that you can use it in Healthie, but that is literally how the majority of the system works. So all that's left in your account is you can see a list of all the patients that you have in your system. You can see a list of all the tests that have been assigned to you. You have the ability to have all of the tests that we have, which is around about 400. And in here, you'll be able to see what the test code is, CPT code, the cost, how many days it takes for it to come back from being tested, We also have the packages. So if we were to make unique packages just for you, you'll see a list of those in here. You'll be able to see all the tests that are included and the cost. And then you've got just the basic user account information. So this will be your information here. So that's it. That is how the lab testing API system works.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This is really helpful, and you can just see how streamlined it is. And I love seeing platforms like this that are just very intuitive, and that's like what we create here at Healthie. And just so everybody knows, in the future, we would love to form an actual technology integration so it's even more seamless. But I think, what you've created, Michelle, is just fantastic, and it makes it really easy for providers to use, and I think for providers and their clients to use, which I think is really important. So I will dive into Healthie and show everyone how these lab reports can be shared and used and collaborated with within the Healthie platform. But I think it actually makes the most sense to just kind of pause here, because I think we have some questions specific to what you just covered, and then we can dive into the Healthie part of it. So I think I know the answer to some of these questions, but you are the expert, so I am going to refer to you. So Kriya had a question about Hawaii. You're saying that the 3 states right now that don't that essentially won't allow this direct access is New York, Rhode Island, and New Jersey. But she's asking about Hawaii because she said there's not a Quest Diagnostics lab there. So she's wondering which testing lab is used in Honolulu.
That is a very good question. We are allowed to test in Hawaii, but Quest currently does not have a location at the state. Sadly, sorry. So you'd have to go to another state to get tested. Sorry.
I see. Okay, so that's actually another question then. How many states then are there no Quest labs where it's legal in the state, but they wouldn't be able to do the testing through lab testing API?
I actually think it's Hawaii and South Dakota.
Okay.
Utah has 2 locations, so it's very difficult to get tested for Quest in Utah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think also this is something that this direct access is something that I was not aware of even literally a few months ago. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is just going to become more prevalent, and there'll be more access once they see the demand, which is clearly there. So stay tuned. Someone else is asking, what if I'm a certified nutritionist? I'm not a licensed primary health provider. Can I still use this system legally?
Yes. You can, because you're not the one actually placing the lab order. So you're working with the patient for lab testing, but the actual physicians network in our system is the one who is placing the lab order.
Got it. Yeah, so that actually answers the other question that someone had. Can patients access what tests they want without providing a physician's name? And so the answer is yes. They don't need their physician to do it, because that's what lab testing API takes care of behind the scenes.
Yeah, could I just interject a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
What we kind of focus on, though, is we do offer the ability for patients to be able to order their own lab work, because there are some patients who there's a need for it, but there's a reason why we have a health provider section, and we're just about to release a directory of health providers on our system, because we really value the relationship of people working together to make individuals healthy. I think it's better personally than an individual sitting there and trying to do everything themselves. I think it's important for that relationship. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Absolutely. And that's fantastic. That's great to know that, you're providing that directory. I think that's really helpful. And then the last question it looks like before I dive in is, did I hear you say there was at-home testing?
Yes. So we do testing kits. Quest is more of our main focus, but we do have the testing kit option that is growing on a regular basis with different labs, because different labs specialize in different testing kits. So we have one that just does STD testing. We have one that does general home testing kits. There's one that does allergies. So it is changing, but Quest is our main drive at the moment.
Okay. And then actually one more question came in. What about naturopaths? Can they order?
Yes, naturopaths can order. We love our naturopaths. We've been working with quite a lot of them over the last year. Anybody can help them work together with an individual to order a test. The main thing to remember is it's patient-led testing. Even though there's a health provider involved, the patient is the one who pays. The patient is the one who has the final say. The patient is the one that their information goes to our physicians network for the lab order to be generated.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. And then also just add on there, just to reiterate what you're saying, which I think is just so fantastic. There's no cost to the provider. There's no cost to you as the dietitian or as the health coach or naturopath, which I think is fantastic. You're providing this referral system, this portal at no cost to them, but they're able to, again, regardless of where they are on the spectrum, if they can, rate labs themselves or whatever, they're actually providing this great resource, which is helpful.
Yeah, we're trying to do a value added service for the health providers. If I had my way with my tech team, I would have a lot of health provider tools, and we're slowly growing those health provider tools out. It's just, I feel if it was one place that they could go to order their lab work, and if there was some other little tools in there as well to help them, we just want to help bring people together. So we wanted to do the health provider portal to be free. We didn't want to provide monthly minimums, which we know can kill some people because they don't have a huge amount of traffic. Sometimes we have some health providers that will do 10 orders in a week, and then we won't see them for 2 weeks because they don't need them. But so we didn't want to confine anybody to strict rules and subscriptions and minimums. So we just thought, you know what, no. So we just wanted to build a health provider portal for free and just help as many people as we could.
Yeah, I love it. I think that is really the perfect transition, I think, to Healthie, because Healthie is that all-in-one platform that works really well with tools like this. But before I dive in, one more person snuck in a question, which I want to get their question answered. And they asked, is there a difference in the price a person would pay if they order it themselves versus having a practitioner order it?
Yes. If they go with a health provider, it is cheaper. We wanted to do that to encourage people to work with health providers rather than go off on their own and do it.
Perfect. Okay. And she said fab. Yes. Great. Okay.
Before you jump though, we do have the ability for, if a person wants to refer a patient, we're in the middle of building this now. If a health provider wants to refer someone for testing through the portal, but they don't want to suggest the test that they want, so they just kind of want to hold their hand and kind of introduce us, we'll be able to give them a heavy discount so that we still give them that good pricing point. Perfect. So that'll be coming in the next week or two.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's definitely that value add that a lot of providers are looking for. And it just makes sense that way to incorporate it into your practice. So with that, Michelle, I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to jump into the Healthie platform. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. Actually, Michelle, can you just confirm, do you see my screen?
I can indeed.
Okay, perfect. So as Michelle was saying, there are these suite of tools for lab tests and reviewing them and sharing them with your clients. And then you can also incorporate them into Healthie. So whether you're using Healthie now or you've been checking out Healthie and considering to use it for your business, like I said in the beginning, it's really the all-in-one platform for everything from scheduling, intake forms, actually doing the sessions virtually, integrating calendars on or calendaring on your website and scheduling, creating packages. Like I said before, it's really your home base for your practice. It's a portal, a web app, a portal, and a mobile application for you and your clients. So it's just really easy for you to work together, for you to really get that client engagement, to organize and grow your practice, which is, again, it just seemed like a really good fit for lab testing API providers. So I'm not going to dive into, all of Healthie. We're happy to answer your questions, and you can get a demo of Healthie anytime. But as it pertains to what we're talking about with lab tests, I thought it would be helpful to just kind of look at one particular a client record and see what that would look like. So right now I'm logged in from the provider side, but actually I want to log in from the client side so you can see that. Because, for instance, and Michelle, let me know if this makes sense to you too, but let's say that you referred your client to get this lab test, and they have it on their portal, but they want it all within Healthie because they want to be able to track results. Maybe they're going to be getting these lab tests once every 6 months or once every, however often you decide. So like Michelle showed, you can, have that PDF generated from lab testing API from that website. And then as the client, I can really easily just add a file here. So I'll add that report, pull it up, and just upload it here to my portal. And so now that it's been added, it automatically will share this with my provider, with my dietitian or health coach, naturopath, etc. And so now, and bear with me because I'm kind of switching around here. Now I'm going to go back to that perspective from the provider here. And now you can see if I go to, again, I'm in this one client record, let's say Claire Taylor here. If I go to charting, all of her notes and paperwork will be here. So if I go to documents viewable by client, I'll see here that report that my client just uploaded is right here. And that goes both ways. As the provider, I can upload documents here, and that will be shown on the client side as well. And so again, it's just a really good way to have everything in one place. Yes, working with lab testing API and having the information there. And as you want to track things over time, maybe you have, other handouts and resources that you're sharing here, and you want them to all be viewable in one place. You can have them in lab testing API, and you can also have them here in Healthie, which makes it really easy. But again, in the future, we would love to have a deeper technology integration. So, if this is something that looks like a lot of Healthie members are using, it's definitely something that we're going to pursue and go down that path. But it's just really exciting, again, to see where this is all going and the access that's now possible for all of these providers in private practice. I think it's really, really helpful, and that's why we're doing this webinar. And so I just want to dive into a couple other things because I know not everyone here is as familiar with Healthie. So if you are a Healthie member, bear with me just a little bit, but I want to introduce Healthie to everyone else too, if they're not as familiar with it. So this is the essentially your dashboard, your home page as a provider, where I can see all of my clients' latest activity. So whether I want them to be logging photos of food or different metrics that we decide upon, and those can be quantitative or qualitative. It could be anything from, stress level to BMI to weight to whatever it is that you decide. And you can see I've gotten kind of creative here with, exercise too. But you can get really creative. But essentially, it's that really efficient way to look at your client's information at a glance. I can see upcoming appointments and my client's latest activity, which really just streamlines things. And something else I'll mention here is you can add comments and you can acknowledge that you've seen different things, and that really helps with client engagement and retention in between those sessions. And then, like I showed you before, you can see all of my my clients here, and then when I click into one, you can see all of their information. So like you saw before, I can upload and share documents, but this is really also where I can see their appointments, their financials, any information that they're logging, session notes. And then something else about the platform that I think is really helpful and sets Healthie apart is you can actually do video sessions directly through the platform. So if I click this video icon here, it'll actually launch a session with that client. And if I had my camera on, I'm not camera ready, but if I were, I would appear right here in this box and my client would appear here. I can also, turn the camera off. It could just be an audio session. I can share my screen. So say, I want to go over those lab results together. I can actually share my screen and we can look at those tests together. So that's also something that, that you can think about when you're working with Lab Testing API, that you can actually do your session and go over those lab tests here. A couple other things I wanted to show you. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I really encourage you to get on a video call with one of our representatives, and they'll actually take you through Healthie as it applies to you and your specific practice, because we have so many different providers just that have different specialties, and so there are different nuances to the platform that can be applied to you. But there are some basic things that I want to show you, like, of course, calendar, your calendar and scheduling sessions. So you can set different appointment types within Healthie. So say you meet in person with some clients and you meet virtually through Healthie with others. You can do that really easily here. You can set your availability, and you can integrate or sync your calendar with Google, with iCal, and with Outlook. And you can see here how you can just very easily create a client session here. Just create, and they'll get a notification, and you can join directly from here. And then once I set my availability and the client has access to my schedule, they can also set the appointments as well. Again, I'm kind of going through this quickly because I want us to get to questions and answers too. But within Healthie, you can also create what we call intake flows. So, say that you have different groups of clients that you want them to fill out different types of forms. Well, you can actually create that within Healthie. You can have program agreements. You can have, a HIPAA agreement. These are just some examples of one intake flow here. But if you want to, you can actually preview what that would look like. And first of all, they just see, exactly what it is that it's going to be like working with you, and you can create that welcome message. And then as they go through it, it's just a very, very simple onboarding layout. So this is just a demo video that I added, but you can, add a video of yourself welcoming them. You can have them upload a photo of themselves. And again, these are just some example forms and ideas here that come pre-built and Healthie, but you can absolutely and totally customize this for yourself. So this is just one intake flow, but these are really easy to create, very simple, drag and drop. And everyone, we have a team at Healthie that can actually help you build those forms if you don't want to create those yourself. And two more things that I wanted to show you. One is client packages. So you can actually embed these directly on your website so that your potential clients can book sessions or programs with you directly. And they're really, really easy to create here. I'll just show you editing one, what it looks like on the back end. You can create the different appointment types here. You can create payment plans here. And it's just very, very simple. Payments are pretty self-explanatory. Healthie is integrated with Stripe, so you can take credit cards. Payment processing happens behind the scenes. Healthie takes no cut of that at all, but it's really helpful to organize and keep just all of those payments and all of that information that you need in one place that you can export at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes or you're reconciling different things. So this makes it really easy to take credit cards, to do payment plans, etc. And there's plenty, again, that I'm not mentioning here, but just trying to cover the basics. And then finally, Healthie also allows you to create courses. So this is something that I absolutely love about Healthie. You can create courses or programs that automatically drips content to your clients on a schedule that you create. And so you can add videos, you can add audios, handouts, etc. You can create whatever you want here. And this is just a demo, but you can see how creative you can get. You can even add question prompts or journaling here, and links to outside resources too, that they can go through. And we have plenty of providers that one of their services or packages that they offer is strictly a course or program like you're seeing here that they created. So I went over a lot of things very, very quickly, but again, I want the focus to be on what lab testing API is offering and how you can then bring that into Healthie. And again, that's through the document section and really managing all those resources and collaborating with your clients. So I hope that was helpful. But if you have questions about Healthie, feel free to let me know, and we can set you up on a one-on-one session. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to this presentation. And well, first of all, encourage you all to start a 2-week free trial if you want to Healthie. Absolutely free. You can just go to gethealthie.com. But I want to spend the rest of the time that we have really just diving into questions about, it can be about Healthie, absolutely, but also, incorporating lab testing into your practice, whether, you currently somehow, incorporate lab testing, or if you're thinking about it, and what that would look like for you. So please just enter any questions that you have in the chat, and we will go over those. So someone's asking about Healthie, if there's a language preference option for clients on the Healthie platform, example Spanish. So right now the platform's completely in English, like you saw. We do have a lot of primary English speakers using the platform, both providers and clients. Right now, though, it is completely in English. When we do translate to other languages, we will definitely let everyone know. You will definitely know when that happens. But in the meantime, yes, it is all in English, like you saw. Okay, some more questions about Healthie. Do you have practitioners that accept insurance through Healthie? So it's not happening directly through Healthie, but yes, we have practitioners that can accept insurance. And so Healthie can automatically generate CMS 1500, so you can put in those CPD, all the codes that you need to submit to your insurance company, or through something like Office Ally. So you can take care of that really easily through Healthie, and then automatically just generate a PDF that you can submit to those insurance companies. Okay, feel free to keep entering the questions that you have. Another question, I think, for you, Michelle. Do you have any resources that you'd recommend? So let's talk about that, nutritionist or health coach that doesn't have that grad school training that a registered dietitian has, and they already, let's say, incorporate lab testing into their practice. Is there a resource or something that you would recommend for people that don't have as much knowledge about that to get started, to just become more familiar with lab testing and that?
Yeah, I think I would want to clarify, I wouldn't recommend going on the internet and learning how to do it. To interpret other people's results is a no. If you're not trained, no.
Absolutely.
But if you want to get better educated about it, and if you wanted your patients to point them in the right direction to better educate themselves as well, there is a great resource called labtestonline.org, and it's what we go to probably nearly every day, and we know lab testing, but they have breakdowns of all the different tests. They have why you would get it, what you can expect to see in your results, and I think they even have a option where you can ask a scientist for free what the blood result means. So they are a very handy resource to have.
Great. Okay. I see another question. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat before. Regina asked, I know you said lab tests are less, but are the prices on Lab Testing APA's website different for providers? And we see those upon sign up? I see a 5% off first order pop up. Is API 100% cash, no insurance taken at all? I think those were a few questions, but did that make sense?
Yes, they're very good questions. Okay, so the pricing on the website is not the pricing that you would get as a health provider. We do it slightly differently. So we have whatever price we get from Quest for our tests, we pass that on to the health provider. So basically, for example, a comprehensive metabolic panel, I want to say it's $5, maybe $6 from Quest. So what you need to take into account is the service fee that covers the draw fee, the lab order generation, our service. The way we work it is we charge $28 for a single test, and then there's a higher one if you're buying more than one. But the majority of health providers that refer patients to us always buy more than one test, and you only have to pay one service fee per test. Whereas for most direct-to-consumer, it's all one test has a draw fee in it. It has the lab order generation. It's all in one test. So if you buy 4 tests, you've got 4 lots of draw fees and they're only going to use one. So that increases the margin. That's the way the system works. But with the health providers, because you guys order more than one test usually, we didn't want to do it like that. So we have one service fee. It's a fixed price on it when you have multiple packages, and you don't have to pay any more than what is the tests from Quest and that extra service fee. And with the tests from Quest, because obviously we have a lot of volume going through lab tests and APIs, so we get good pricing from Quest, which means that we pass that on to you. And if Quest lower their price, so for example, if I have a windfall on vitamin D testing for a few months, you can go to Quest and say, hey, I'm doing really good here. Can you give me better pricing for it? They'll drop the price. We drop the price for the health provider. That's kind of how we try and work with you guys to help you as much as we can. And the other question was with the cash, it is cash price. It's the cash pay system only. We do not do anything with insurance. We might do in the future, but right now we want to focus on cash. And I noticed that Regina also had a follow-up question. The single test is $28 for draw fee and everything. And I know that we have a special offer for packages, so I'm going to, there we go. So if you order a package, so when I say package, if you have, say you order 3 tests, it will be $33 for the service fee, and that's it. So you could, I had a health provider before I came online who ordered a test for a patient, and there's 15 tests in it. So as more tests you add on, the savings get bigger and bigger. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Regina.
Fantastic. Okay. And then Michelle, we were talking about this a little bit before, but I'd love for you to dive in a little bit more. If you can provide just any insight into, New York, Rhode Island, New Jersey, because I know that we do have some people joining from those states. And so what are those state law regulations like? Have you heard anything about them changing? Any insight you can provide there.
Yeah, I think all of us are sat there waiting for the state laws to change for those states. I have heard through the Physicians Network that New York is definitely coming up on the cards because they're starting to work on all the legal side of things. But there is no date. And I think that's just typical state law changes. They don't happen overnight, but I do know that there is something coming up. I just have no other information on it. I'm sorry. except for crossing my fingers and hoping it hurries up soon.
Yes, none of us have the magic 8 ball, but yeah. I do see things changing soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would actually just love if you could kind of give us some other examples, maybe let's say, because again, Healthie, we do have a lot of members across the spectrum of many different types of providers. So just as one random example I'm thinking of, a chiropractor. Do you have any examples of, let's say, a chiropractor incorporating lab testing somehow into their practice using lab testing API?
Yeah, we have quite a few chiropractors. They do very basic testing, but yeah, they'll order, your standard tests like your CMPs and your CBCs, but yeah, it's not. We don't have them ordering like lots of crazy tests, but we do have a lot of chiropractors. I would say that our biggest one is naturopaths. We have acupuncturists who work with us. We have nutritionists. We actually are working with the NAMP. So we actually have kind of like an affiliation with them as well. So we do a lot of dietitian and nutrition work. But yeah, you'd be surprised that a lot of people are opening their mind up to looking at the numbers that are inside the body to help them with their working with patients.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, like we kind of talked about in the beginning of this webinar, just the direction that health and nutrition and wellness is going. Yes, we absolutely need the provider's expertise. We need the whole point of our platforms are for that practitioner. And at the same time, we want our clients to be empowered with knowledge, and, they're looking for information anyway. So I think the more that we can empower both the provider and the client, I think, the better off everyone will be.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to have the tools. I think that you need to make sure that they don't get abused.
Exactly.
But I think it's good with the way that technology is nowadays. For example, we can do a lab order and the patient can be sat at home having a cup of coffee. They can place an order, print the lab order, and go and get tested at Quest. And there's no faxing or, no old school. Everything is all electronic. So I think that we just need to support everybody so that we're in this generation of so much information. And I think that we just need to bring people together so that, you've got the health providers supporting the individual, utilizing the lab testing. I think that lab testing accounts for like 80% of health decisions or something, I think was one of the stats that I read once. But I think that it's so helpful that it shouldn't be ignored, and it needs to be easier for people to get hold of it. It needs to be cheaper for people to use it. And that's what I'm trying to do day by day.
Absolutely. I mean, Michelle, the mission and what, your why, like you said at the beginning, it's really clear. And that's why, again, Healthie was really excited to partner with you on this and just to kind of spread the word, because plenty of providers still don't know that this is possible, that they can access these. So thank you so much. I see one other question, if there are any special offers for Healthie right now. And yes, to answer your question, what you see on the screen right here, in addition to the special offer that Lab Testing API has, Healthie is giving $70 credit over 2 months for new members. So if you haven't signed up for Healthie yet, but you've been thinking about it, if you just mention this webinar, the Lab Testing API, incorporating lab testing into your practice webinar, you will be given that $70 credit applied over 2 months. So $35 off the first month and $35 off the second month for the small practice plan. But you can just go to gethealthie.com/pricing and you can see the different packages that Healthie offers. So if you have any other questions, please enter them in the chat now. But if not, we can wrap up.
Oh, could I just jump in for 2 seconds?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay, so if anybody is interested in having a conversation with Lab Testing API or investigating, all you need to do is Google Lab Testing API or search labtestingapi.com. And if you do like what you're seeing, or you want to have some pricing sent over to you or further discussions, you can either contact us through there, or you can click on the health provider link, which is right at the top of the website, and you can click the sign up button. And what we've done is we've added in a drop down, so you can tell us that you've come from the Healthie webinar, so that you'll get that discounted service fee automatically. Sales pitch over.
Yes, sales pitch over. But again, I think what the offer here is just, it's very, very good. So I hope people take advantage of it. I think it's really great what Lab Testing API is doing, and obviously I love what Healthie is doing, and that's why we do these webinars. So with that, we're gonna end the webinar, and please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Again, just mention this webinar for that $70 credit. And we hope this was really helpful, and that you got some knowledge, you took away some tidbits that you weren't aware of before, and that that this was helpful. So thank you so much, Michelle, for doing this webinar and sharing with everyone.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.